but I want to give an introduction. Today's homily is going to be about all of this that is in the cover of our bulletin. So I invite you to take a quick look again at the front of the bulletin, at these images, and create your own stories. You've heard the gospel. You know what this is about. What does it mean in your life? How do you apply this in your life? Last night was the first outdoor worship service of the summer season at the chapel in the woods. And as I told those who were gathered there, it was the perfect setting for today's gospel story. Jesus wasn't really a farmer, but he was a farmer. He wasn't really a fisherman, but he was a fisherman. And Jesus used agrarian themes, agricultural themes, in his life parables, in his life stories to teach other people. And he did that because he knew they would understand. The people who were listening would understand what he meant. Of the 31 parables that are attributed to Jesus in the Gospels, 11 have to do with agriculture. That makes perfect sense because on his earthly journey, Jesus was part of that agricultural society. As a carpenter's son, living in what we would probably call the country, Jesus would have known what it meant to have chickens or sheep in the yard, weeds growing in places that you didn't want weeds to grow in. And so he would have been familiar with the 4 types of soil, of terrain, described in today's gospel. Soil in which the seeds, or God's wisdom, were planted. A particularity of parable theology is that the message isn't direct. You're not spoon-fed what Jesus was intending for you to take with you. The intention is for the listener to process and understand the message and apply it to their lives. The 12 disciples and millions of faithful believers since then have taken it upon themselves to germinate the seeds within the core of their souls and to bear fruit for others to reap. Last year, St. Gabriel's partnered with Dreamers Moms to launch a social justice ministry, a literacy ministry called Educando con Amor, Educating with Love. This was a pilot program. We didn't know where it was going to go. But we started it. We started it at HealthWorks on Edwards Ferry Road. And as of this past Friday, we had to move it because the program grew. And we are in a much more centric location now, right in the middle of the largest affordable housing complex in Leesburg, called the Fields. We're doing field work. And so today I invited guests because they are planters, sowers, reapers. They are the fruit of our labor, the seeds that have germinated, and now they're feeding others, many others. Some here, who you'll hear from today, are volunteer teachers. Some are students. But what they share in common is a commitment not only to learn or teach, but to share. To continue planting seeds of love, L-O-V-E. They also share a commitment to dream. They share a commitment to have hope. And they desire with all their hearts to pay it forward. You will hear then this morning in a moment how these people, just like Christ's disciples, took it upon themselves to learn as much as possible, to plant as much as possible, to harvest as much as possible and to pay it forward as much as possible. Les voy a invitar a que nos paremos aquí de frente. I will be the interpreter today, and I've asked our panelists, if you may, in gratitude for the work that they're doing to learn and to teach, to share a little bit about sowing their seeds. Les he dicho en la introducción a nuestra comunidad que hoy les he invitado para que ustedes puedan ser profetas y también portavoces de las semillas que han recibido, que tienen en su corazón, y de las maneras en que esas semillas están germinando, las están dando a la comunidad, como lo hizo Jesús. So who wants to be first? You want to be first, and you have prepared with written. Oh. Talk about commitment, huh? So, les voy a pedir primero que digan su nombre.
Mi nombre es Eva María Torres Herrera y soy coordinadora de Dreamers Mom Virginia.
I am Eva María Torres Herrera, and I am the coordinator of Dreamers Moms Virginia.
My name is Araceli Martinez, and I collaborate with Dreamers Mom and now with the program, the education program.
I'm Richard. What's your last name, Richard? Martinez. ¿Quién más?
Mi nombre es Carla Reyes y soy mamá de ellos, 4 niños que asisten al programa de Educando con Amor y yo soy voluntaria también.
I am Carla, and I'm the mother of the 4 children here before you, and I am also a volunteer at Educando con Amor.
Mi nombre es Margie y soy profesora voluntaria.
I am Margie, and I'm also a volunteer professor at Educando con Amor. So we're going to start with Richard.
Hello everybody, my name is Richard Martinez Reyes.
And we have to talk loudly.
And today I am representing the program Teaching with Love. This program was created by the organization Dreamers Moms and the Church St. Gabriel's. The organization Dreamers Moms is a national movement of women and mothers who fight for justice, equality, and dignity of the immigrant community in the United States. I've been in this program for a year, and I had a great advance on reading, writing, understanding, and expression. I recommend this program for people who want to know Spanish. The teachers in the program are loving and patient and good teachers that teach Spanish. And I want to thank Miss Eva, Miss Lise, Miss Araceli, and Miss Margie for everything they did to help us learn Spanish, and my mom too. She's a volunteer, and because of her, me and my brothers are learning Spanish to communicate better. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. And as we normally do in panels, I'm going to ask a question and anyone can answer. Voy a hacer una pregunta, cualquiera puede contestar, pero voy a ver si Richard es el primero en contestar. ¿Por qué es importante para ti el español, saber español, Richard? Why is it important for you to know Spanish, Richard?
Because you have more opportunities of jobs.
More opportunities of jobs? What else?
You can help more people.
You can help more people. More seeds, right?
Yeah, like in a hospital, if you don't know Spanish and someone speaks Spanish,
Yep.
You can help them.
You can help someone in a hospital? Cool. ¿Qué más? ¿Por qué es importante que aprendamos español, enseñar español? Why is it important to teach and learn Spanish?
La segunda lengua más hablada en los Estados Unidos es el español.
Spanish is the second most popular language spoken in the United States.
El aprender español da oportunidades de vida.
So it gives life opportunities to know to speak Spanish.
Cuando viajan, da oportunidades de ampliar su cultura, muchas partes del mundo se habla español.
And so even when you travel, you have an opportunity to expand not only your culture but other people's cultures because Spanish is spoken in so many countries.
Y es importante para los chicos, nuestra semilla es que ellos sean completamente bilingües. De los principales objetivos no es solo que lo hablen, sino que puedan leerlo y escribirlo correctamente.
One of the principal objectives of Educando con Amor is that the children not only speak Spanish, but that they be fully bilingual, that they know how to read and also write in Spanish.
Eso les da la oportunidad de desarrollo en cualquiera de los ámbitos que ellos quieran trabajar, ya sea económico, social o simplemente cultural.
And so it expands the opportunities for the children, not only socially as we've seen with Richard, culturally, personally. It opens up new opportunities.
Es un sueño que está siendo realidad para nosotras. El proyecto de Educando con Amor va más allá de enseñar español.
Educando con Amor is a dream come true for many of us, and it goes beyond just teaching Spanish.
Pretendemos, y está muy cerca, las clases de inglés para adultos.
In addition to teaching Spanish, we're going to soon be teaching English as a second language.
Capacitación para padres.
And also life skills for parents.
Y lo pretendemos que ellos tengan una educación integral. Educando con Amor no solo enseña español, también normas de vida, valores.
So it's a holistic approach to learning. It's not just about learning a language, but it's also about having good values. It's also about having positive impacts.
Y destrezas para la vida.
And life skills as well. ¿Alguien más? ¿Por qué es importante el español educando con amor? No todas a la misma vez.
Pienso que los estudiantes que tenemos, sus padres son latinos.
So the students that we are teaching are of Latino parents.
Y están estudiando en escuelas que solo les proveen el inglés.
And they're learning in a school system that is only teaching them in English.
Ellos pueden entender lo que nosotros decimos y expresarse, pero no correctamente.
They can understand what we're saying, they can express themselves somewhat, but not 100% accurately or correctly.
La idea es que ellos sigan conservando sus raíces latinas y puedan expresarse de una forma correcta, teniendo unas reglas gramaticales adecuadas.
And so the idea is that they would also learn Spanish completely, perfectly, grammatically correctly, and have those skills as well. Gracias. ¿Algo? Como
Yo nada
mamá.
más lo que yo quiero es agradecerles a las maestras por su tiempo, por su dedicación para enseñar a los niños.
I want to say first and foremost how much gratitude I have to the teachers for dedicating so much time to my children, to our children.
Porque pues hay pues muy pocas personas que pues dediquen su tiempo pues para servir a otros y sin ningún costo también, porque esto no tiene ningún costo.
You know, a majority of people don't take time to serve others the way she has seen these teachers serving people, and especially in a program that doesn't have a fee. It's free, and so they're not making a living doing this. They do it on their own.
Bueno, para mí el programa de Educando con Amor es consecuencia de un gran trabajo.
Educating with love is an outcome of a lot of labor, of work that has been done in the past.
Dreamers Moms, como organización nacional, habíamos trabajado por justicia, dignidad y todo el tiempo.
Dreamers Moms, a national organization of advocacy, was really working on things of advocacy, that which is, on behalf of other immigrant people.
Y habíamos estado trabajando con que nuestra comunidad latina conozca sus derechos.
And we've been working with the community on things like knowing your rights.
Y platicando con el padre Daniel hace 3 años.
And speaking with me about 3 years ago,
él nos hizo ver que teníamos que dar un paso más hacia la comunidad.
he or me, I helped them realize that they had to take a step further out to reach out to the community.
Y era servir a nuestra comunidad no solamente en la parte de inmigración, sino en la parte educativa.
And it was not only to serve other people on the issues of immigration, but also to serve people in the areas of education.
Y empezamos con alfabetización para nuestra comunidad.
So we started with adult literacy.
Pero de repente esto se convirtió, las mamás nos trajeron a los niños.
And that morphed because parents started to bring their children.
Y entonces se convirtió en un programa para niños.
So instead of being a program for adults, it morphed into a program for children.
Y entonces, bueno, empezamos a ver cuáles eran las necesidades.
And we started to evaluate what the needs in the community were.
Y las mamás nos pidieron ESL.
And now we're coming full circle because the parents, the mothers, are asking for ESL.
Y entonces, nosotros, Dreamers Moms, gracias a Araceli, dimos algunas becas para que las mamás aprendieran inglés.
And so, thanks to Araceli and the work of Dreamers Moms, we found organizations that have provided scholarships so that moms can go and learn ESL.
Y nuestro sueño era que nuestro programa tuviera ESL.
But our dream was that our program, Educando con Amor, would also provide ESL locally.
Y bueno, ya es un sueño,
And that
ya
is,
es una realidad.
and now that dream is a reality.
Y otra realidad era, otro sueño era que llegaran también niños que no supieran hablar español.
Another dream we had was that children would come who did not know how to speak Spanish.
Dentro de nuestra comunidad latina tenemos las familias mixtas,
Within our Latino communities, we have mixed families,
que la mamá habla español y el papá habla inglés.
where mom might speak Spanish and dad might speak English.
Y lo que se habla en casa es inglés.
And what is spoken at home is English.
Y entonces ahí tenemos 2 alumnos
And so we have 2 students
que no hablan nada español,
that don't speak any Spanish.
su mamá habla español,
Mom speaks Spanish,
entonces trajo a los niños al programa
and she brought her children to the program.
y ahora estamos haciendo el programa también con niños que no hablan español.
And so we've morphed the program for certain children to teach them basic Spanish spoken as well as written and read.
Y entonces hacemos ya el switch.
So we're doing this switch in our program.
Me dicen las palabras en inglés
They tell me the words in English,
y nosotros las damos en español.
and we tell them the words in Spanish. And that's how we start.
Entonces ya hemos iniciado otra etapa.
So we've really moved into another stage of teaching.
Nuestras voluntarias son maestras.
Our volunteers are true teachers, educated teachers, professional teachers.
Las 3, Maggie, Araceli y yo, fuimos maestras en nuestro país de origen.
So the 3, Margie and Araceli and Eva, are trained teachers in their native countries
Con 20 años de experiencia en
with
educación.
more than 20 years each of education.
Sabemos la importancia
So we know the importance
de la educación.
of education. Yo les quiero agradecer por sembrar las semillas. Yo les quiero agradecer también por recibir esas semillas en tierra fértil para poder entonces crear cosecha.
Yo estoy muy orgullosa hoy de Richard. Él
She
ha
says she's
podido-
very, very proud of Richard today
Él ha podido hacer solo su ensayo
because he wrote this on his own
en español y en inglés.
in English and in Spanish.
Y lo escribió correctamente.
And he wrote it correctly, says the teacher. We're educating with love, and you're witnesses of the fruit of St. Gabriel's orchards. How about that? St. Gabriel's orchards. He's the farmer. We like that. Gracias. Thank you. Please stand.